Hello everybody and welcome to the Virgo 2025 horoscope, which is very exciting. This is for Virgo sun, moon or rising, but I will say if you're a Virgo rising, this is going to be a lot more accurate. So let's get into it. I will talk about the key themes of the year and then also I'll break it down month by month. I won't mention every single thing that's going on because that will take forever, and I also do monthly and weekly horoscopes too, which go in more into depth. So hopefully you won't think, she's missing out a few things here. I'm just kind of giving you the highlights and what will really affect you. So, key themes for Virgo. I love this for you this year because you probably have the best chance more than any of the signs to get engaged, get married, or actually find your soulmate. And I'll explain why. But this is really, really lovely energy. You'll also be establishing a really good career and also destined friendships through Jupiter's luck and joy. And then you might also be working on investments and your physical relationships and that trust linked to the getting commitment. So let's go into it and I'll explain. So January 2025, Mars will be retrograding in Leo in your 12th house. So this started on the 6th of December 2024 and will continue to the 6th of January 2025. Mars is the planet of war and aggression and sex drive, and Leo is masculine and powerful. It's optimistic and sunny. So together it's very much a David Goggins, I will not quit, I'm a warrior mentality, which causes a lot of frustration and anger, but can actually be used for good with passion. In that 12th house of mental health, you could have frustrations around these themes. You could be frustrated about your mental health specifically, or you could be frustrated about things that then affect your mental health and you're like, just got myself into a good balance and now I feel like I'm off kilter again. But you could use the frustration and passion of Leo and Mars to kind of move that into a positive direction. So if you desire a change in your mood, use that passion for direction. Say, no, I'm going to be happy. I'm not going to let this deter me. You know, it could be used for good. Then Venus will be in Pisces in your 7th house. So this is, you'll start to see the 7th house popping up a lot during this video, which is the committed relationship house. So on the 2nd of January, Venus will leave Aquarius and enter Pisces, which is a much more dreamy and delusional and compassionate love sign. With the 7th house, I quite like this energy. So you could find more harmony with your relationships now. This could be the start of the year where you're starting to think, yeah, I feel really good in this relationship, or I feel good about finding a relationship. Then Mars retrograde will be entering Cancer in your 11th house. So from the 6th of January to the 23rd of February, Mars will enter Cancer, which is not its best place to be because Mars is very aggressive and angry and Cancer is highly sensitive and emotional. So it's not a good click. So this will highlight some frustrations with friendships and might cause you to act out. You kind of need to exercise some impulse control here. It's very much crying and screaming at the same time. So just be a little bit careful with friendships here and not saying things that you regret. So this is what is important with the engagement and marriage thing I mentioned. The nodes will be changing to Pisces and Virgo, right? So they've been in Aries and Libra and now they're in Pisces and Virgo. So your North node will be in Pisces in the 7th house and your Virgo South node will be in your 1st house of Self, right? So that North node in the 7th house is really going to give you that purpose and that energy of getting married and getting engaged, right? Because your North node is kind of like your purpose in life or the path you're destined for. Some astrologers disagree with this, but I generally think that's correct. So you can get greater purpose with relationships, and because it's not just like the 5th house of dating, it's the 7th house of commitment, a contract. This is an energy of my purpose is to really lock this down and get engaged or get married. It could also be that you're really fixing on something. You could be moving in with somebody, for example, and wanting to start a family, and then, you know, because some countries, for example, don't get married, you know, so it could be that I might as well be married to them, but I'm not, but it's an energy of commitment that's like really fixed. I picked this person. And around this time, you could also find somebody that you feel really destined for as well, like a soulmate. So if you're not in a relationship now, you could be definitely in one. And that's why I'm really excited for this for you. And again, the South node will be in your sign as well. So it's kind of like you'll be interacting with the 7th house and your identity much more. Uranus will then be direct in Taurus on the 30th of January. So Uranus will go direct in your Taurus 9th house. So expect a bit of unexpected, as it were, shake-ups with study and travel. Especially if you work in higher education, for example, as well, you could have a little bit of a shake-up there. And if you experience any kind of issues from May to September last year, 2024, then these may repeat now, or the lessons that you learned will come back. February 2025, Venus enters Aries in the 8th house on the 2nd of February. So Venus will enter that 8th house of investing and trust and physical intimate relationships. So this brings excitement and passion to these opportunities, especially with that 8th house of physical relationships as well. So you could feel a bit amorous, a bit spicy, but Venus is debilitated in Aries, so it's not as harmonious as it would be in other Venus signs. Jupiter will be direct in Gemini in your 10th house on the 2nd of February. This is what's going to give you luck for the first half of the year in career. So expansive opportunities that can pick up. This is active. You could find that you have a promotion, or you're moving to something where you're able to get a new job, or you're getting a raise or a status or some kind of thing. You just have a lot of luck. You know, it's a great energy for starting something new with luck, with your job, reinventing your job, or getting a new salary. Then Mars will be direct in Cancer in your 11th house. Friendships and networking, so you will be very frustrated and a little bit angry again over friendships. You could be saying the wrong thing. Mars again is highly sensitive, so this could be like, you really hurt my feelings, and it's just like, and then 5 minutes later it's like, you really hurt my feeling, and then it's just angry. It's like, ah. And you know, Virgos, they can be really I can say this as well because I have a close relationship with a Virgo. Virgos can be quite sort of like, oh, you're dead to me. So okay, that's why Virgo and Sag backs to each other. March 2025, Venus will be retrograding in Aries, 8th house, 1st of March. Again, Venus debilitated in Aries, so you must be a bit more flexible emotionally. So this can bring out some existing issues in your relationships, and as a retrograde, you're thinking more about this. You can get annoyed by other people, and because this is Aries, it's like heightened in that anger. With the 8th house, you've got to focus on forgiving yourself and how you trust others. So especially anyone that you have intimate relationships with as well. Or you're getting frustrated over that maybe. Maybe you're like, you always have a headache, you know, something along those lines. Mercury in Aries will also be happening on the 3rd of March as well. So might need a bit of ice water here. Then we have a Virgo lunar eclipse in your 1st house of Self, Virgo, so 14th of March. Very strong, disciplined energy of the Virgo, and this is a good time to finish any important projects. Good time to release any kind of stagnant energy around appearance and feelings of laziness as well. Retrograde Central. So Mercury retrograde in Aries in the 8th house on the 15th of March. Mercury retrograde brings communication issues, technology issues, delays, things coming back from the past. And with Venus also retrograde in Aries, this can be a really challenging period. A lot of angst and aggression. So focus on the Zen calmness that you need. Yeah, in the 8th house as well, I would be careful about investing. I wouldn't invest in anything around this time. Venus retrograde in Pisces in the 7th house on the 27th of March. So old energy with relationships that you might be reevaluating. This is where you really start to evaluate what you want from your relationship as well. But in that 7th house, focus on what kind of love you really want, and use that delusion of Pisces to kind of manifest some attention as well. Then Mercury will be retrograding in Pisces in the 7th house on the 29th of March. So alongside Venus and Pisces retrograde, we have the highly spiritual, karmic, kind of intuitive communication around love. This, again, be open to all the lessons that this brings. You know, you could have a little bit of a communication issue with a relationship right now, or it's like, do you really want this? Are you sure? Like, you just feel a little bit... Then Neptune will be entering Aries in the 8th house on the 30th of March. Neptune is the planet of clarity and spirituality, and Aries gives it that fire and passion. I do not like Neptune in Aries because Saturn will also be in Aries soon as well, and together that gives me energy of war. So this is a bit... I don't like this generally as like a world thing, but for your sign Virgo, you could find that you think you're clear on something, but you're not. So it's kind of like you punch the mirror because you can't see what's in the mirror, and then you're like, damn, should have done that. So just be careful with the clarity here. Aries, a solar eclipse on the 29th of March in your 8th house again. So this will trigger energy that you need to kind of action with issues arising. This is much more of a I take charge, new project kind of style. So you might want to release some powerful energy and grieve over something with the 8th house, especially some kind of trust element, and then move on to something immediately. You might also want to reframe something in the 8th house rather than give it up fully because of the retrogrades. So you could be reframing the way you trust somebody, the way you view a physical relationship, the way that you invest, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's you could be reframing about letting go of someone as well. April 2025, we have Mercury direct in Pisces in the 7th house on the 7th of April. So communication is easier now. You can communicate your feelings with ease. You're generally just back on track. There's no delays here. You might also feel that you can communicate at work much easier. And with this 7th house of relationships, you're building up connections and you can communicate in your relationships much easier as well. And you don't feel so much like they're not picking up what you're putting down. Then Venus will be direct in Pisces in the 7th house, the 12th of April, beautiful energy. You may experience some better manifestations with your love life here. You'll also feel less burdened by having to keep up appearances, and you just feel lighter, good hope around love. I mean, yeah, Venus direct in Pisces, 7th house. I mean, this could be the time some of you are getting the engagement or the marriage. Just saying, what do you think? The return. The return. Mars is back in Leo, 12th house, 18th of April. So think back to issues that you're probably having now if you're watching this in December 2024, which I assume that you are, from November to December of 2024. And what are they? What were they? How do you deal with them? How are you currently dealing with them? You can tie up these loose ends a little bit and feel more energy with your goals and mental health, specifically with that 12th house, and be a bit more careful about the frustration that comes with this because of the Mars Leo energy together. Then Venus is back in Aries in the 8th house on the 30th of April, so you can bring any unfinished business from March back and deal with it head on. You can be a bit more enthusiastic with love and energetic, but you could also be a bit more impulsive. So this is one to balance a little bit, really. Again, Venus and Aries, not great together. May 2025, Pluto will be retrograding in Aquarius in your 6th house on the 4th of May. So you may have experienced some intense transformations around your co-workers or your relationship with exercise and food, and how that has really helped you in your life. But now these slow down a bit and you don't necessarily see the external changes. You think more of these internally. So you might not get any gains with your exercise regime, for example, but you're still working on it. Or you could be thinking more about gaining new co-workers through a new job, for example. And then on the 24th of May, Saturn will enter Aries in your 8th house. Just aside from this being, your sign, this is major. I am kind of scared about this because Saturn is the planet of constriction and Aries is war. And together, this is taunting energy. This does not look good to me. A bit sort of worried about it, but hopefully it'll be okay. Saturn in your 8th house as well could show boundaries and growth with investing. Opportunities, and also who has access to you, who has physical access to you and emotional access to you. Who are you allowing in your life that you're giving some trust and some energy to? You might be like, oh, energy vampire, I don't want that anymore. But yeah, I mean, Aries is forward moving and Saturn is kind of the rope around you, so together it's just like, oh, seek some freedom as much as possible, really. You might feel like someone relying on you too much as well, and you're like, oh, I don't like this energy. June 2025, this is a nice month. Jupiter enters Cancer in the 11th house on the 9th of June. Beautiful energy. Mercury also enters Cancer the day before, so good communication with friendships as well. And this is going to be a great expansion for friendships. So having foreign partners because of that Jupiter influence, because it's expansive, it's about travel. So you could have more foreign friends, especially if you're, someone who's bilingual. You could also find that you're just expanding your social circle into something you've always wanted, and it's just a nice energy. So really beautiful. You're having really good social contact as well. Could even go to more parties and more events, and just generally like feeling like, yeah, I've got community around me. And then Mars will be entering your sign, Virgo, on the 17th of June. Fabulous energy for productivity, especially with a Virgo. And a great time to use those frustrations of the Mars in your sign into being productive with your appearance, your purpose and your status, but then also just being productive as well. July 2025, Neptune will be retrograding in Aries in the 8th house on the 4th of July. So Neptune retrograde brings this very foggy sort of dust on the mirror kind of thing. And Aries is like forceful, so it's kind of like punching a mirror because you can't see what's going on. It's fighting the wind. So try to stay tapped into your intuition and in the 8th house as well of that, the hidden secrecy, detective energy of the Scorpio. Focus on the path you're on and don't get too hidden by what people are saying around you. Focus on your investments as well here. Uranus and then enters Gemini in your 10th house on the 7th of July. Uranus is settled in Gemini because it's a communication house and it's kind of like the higher octave of Mercury. So this will bring out of the box ideas, very innovative with your career. So you could be like, I'm going to do some really exciting new research, or I'm going to be focusing on a new way to present this at work, and it's really exciting. You could also be like thinking of a new side hustle as well here. So open your mind to new ways of thinking and new stories about who you are too with your career. Then we have retrogrades again. So Saturn retrograde in Aries in the 8th house on the 13th of July. Saturn there's that restriction energy again. So because of the retrograde, we're not necessarily feeling that externally, we're thinking about it. So you're setting boundaries and also maybe feeling how you're trapped with your finances and who you're sharing it with. Again, someone could be really leaning on you in an emotional way and you're like, oh, I don't like this. So use that Aries energy to tap into the creativity and remind yourself that there are several options out here when it comes to investing and who you have in your life. Then we have a Mercury retrograde in Leo in the 12th house on the 18th of July. Great time for second chances with somebody you've fallen out of contact with. An ex could come back during this time, but, you know, if my prediction's correct about the good relationships, we shouldn't want them back. Unless the ex is the person that you want back, in which case maybe, I don't know. But be careful with your mental health routine here in that 12th house. Just be careful about trying to talk to somebody about your mental health and them not understanding you. Pick the right people to talk to here. August 2025, Mars enters Libra in your second house of income and finances on the 6th of August. Mars and Libra are kind of complete opposites. You know, it's the whole men are from Mars, women are from Venus. They don't get each other. So this is about understanding others to the fullest. And it's a good energy and drive for finances and using that passion of Mars to enhance these. But again, can be a little bit sort of a bit angry. Mars and Libra, debilitated, not good. Mercury direct in Leo in the 12th house on the 11th of August for you is good. So Mercury direct can help you channel your motivation around your goals. You get back on track. You can communicate with people about your mental health much easier. You might also find that your mental health actually takes a few stances up as well. And you can use that energy to kind of manifest more joy in your life as well. Venus will also enter Leo in the 12th house as well on the 25th. So again, more harmony around your mental health as well. September 2025, Saturn enters Pisces in your 7th house on the 1st of September. Saturn will now stay in Pisces for the rest of the year. If you're a Saturn and Pisces kid, you can revisit any lessons you had from the past 2 to 3 years. I'm a Saturn and Pisces kid. Why, oh why are we back again? But I'm happy for it not to be in Aries. So it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, okay. So Virgo, focus on the constrictions that affect your relationships or any of the kind of things that you're thinking about, especially to do with engagement or marriage or that level of commitment. Uranus retrograde in Gemini 10th house of career 6th of September. This will slow down any new ideas and innovations with your career. So anything that you had, like, that you were innovating, it might be like you're getting issues with that. You might find you're stuck in a rut, feeling a bit lazy, or you may have like a shock or some kind of news that you're not expecting. It's not necessarily really bad. It's just like you get some news about your career that you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, now what do I do? Again, it's not bad, just unexpected. So eclipses, we have a Pisces lunar eclipse in your 7th house on the 7th of September. So this is ending and releasing something to do with a committed relationship. This is not a breakup. This is very cathartic actually. So it could just be like, I don't know, moving to girlfriend, boyfriend, to fiance. I don't know, you know what I mean? It's something that no longer serves you and you're moving towards something you actually really want. Then we have a Virgo solar eclipse in your 1st house of self on the 21st of September. So starting a new project, focusing on new plans and goals, maybe doing something new to your appearance, feeling good about your status in life really here. October 2025, Pluto direct in Aquarius in the 6th house on the 13th of October. So you can focus on those major transformations and lessons with health and co-workers now, and then you can finally move forward. It's a good energy for getting back on track with your gym routine and diet, and then also being like feeling good with co-workers. And then Neptune will be entering Pisces in your 7th house on the 22nd of October. Neptune spiritual, Pisces spiritual together. Beautiful energy for really enhancing that spiritual energy in your relationships, revisiting issues with connections and focusing on that clarity. Great time for meditating on your relationship and how you can build it up and focus on those bonds. Again, if you're not in a relationship, you can focus on what you really want from a relationship. November 2025, Uranus will enter Taurus in your 9th house on the 7th of November. So innovations and shake-up with study and career, any changes to the security that you had with that, any joy you've been feeling with it can be worked on. I really see this as like a good energy when it's like kind of going with the flow a little bit, kind of teaches you to be less rigid. You know, Virgo is often known for being very perfectionist, and, you know, it's a good energy for just being like, I'm going to take the waves that come on me. Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius in the 4th house, 9th of November. Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius is not as nasty as other ones, so this is never as bad as it could be for others. So you may feel like you can't communicate, open up to someone, you kind of want to run for the hills a little bit. And you could experience some delays with family members, some miscommunication, have issues around the homes, things breaking, that kind of thing. Then we have retrogrades version 400. So Jupiter retrograde in Cancer at the 11th house on the 11th of November. So this Jupiter retrograde will have us evaluating any projects and dreams for this year. We're not necessarily going for our goals, we're evaluating them. In that 11th house of friendships, you're looking at the dreams and things around your friendships, kind of maybe focusing on how you want to expand your social group and maybe also thinking like, how do I see my friends when they're all across the country, that kind of thing. Then we have a Mercury retrograde in Scorpio in the 3rd house on the 18th of November. Very passionate with that Scorpio energy. An ex could return with full force here. You could have issues around communicating or writing emails with that 3rd house, so just be careful about making any mishaps at work. Then we have directs. So Saturn will be direct in Pisces in your 7th house on the 27th of November. This can give you a tiny bit more freedom and a bit more clarity when it comes to feeling trapped in relationships. You're setting boundaries around your committed relationships here as well, and generally feeling a lot more like, I know what I want, I know my standards are high here, and I have boundaries. Then Mercury will be direct in Scorpio in the 3rd house 2 days later on the 29th of November. So you can move forward here, Virgo. You can make good decisions with projects or kind of speaking to others. You could also find that there's a bit more movement in social media as well if you're into that. And then the last month of the year, December, so Mars will be retrograding in Leo in the 12th house again on the 6th of December. So irritation and anger with matters of mental health, but try to focus on communicating your needs in a calm way. Use that passion again. You could be focusing a lot more on your manifestations here and maybe getting frustrated that some of them are not appearing. But Neptune will be direct in Pisces in the 7th house, bring some clarity and beauty to your soulmate. Your committed relationships become so much clearer to you now. You end the year feeling good about your relationships and generally being like, yes, this has been a fantastic year for relationships for me. So it's just a beautiful time. So Virgo, overall, great energy for locking down a committed relationship if you're not in one already, meeting a soulmate and getting engaged or married, lovely energy, establishing a great career as well, being more innovative in that career, having beautiful friendships that are destined for you, and then working on your investments for the future and also your trust and intimacy with others. This is a beautiful year for you, Virgo. I love it. It's exciting. It's good. So if you felt like you've had a bit of a shit past 2 years, then this should give you some solace, so hopefully that's good. If you enjoyed this video, it'd be lovely if you could give it a like and join me for another video soon. I hope you have a lovely 2025 and thank you for watching. Bye.